This is Andrew for Geek News Central. Today we have the Saturn 10 Pro by Venturer. It's a 10-inch Android tablet with a detachable keyboard. It's co-branded with RCA, and regular readers of GNC will probably remember that I reviewed a previous Venturer tablet based on Windows 10. So this is it's the Android version. It's kind of I can see the similarities to the previous version that I reviewed. I feel like it's the more upmarket or the businessy version of the Mercury 7L. This one here is the 10 Pro. The 7L is the 7-inch sibling, which doesn't have a keyboard or anything like that. So let's take a wee look. Whilst we're unboxing it, it has all the features you'd expect from a tablet or an Android tablet, compatible with Google Play. It's running Android 6, which I think is Marshmallow if I remember. And if I can get the box open, that'll be a good start. Has Bluetooth, it does have some interesting features, like it does have an HDMI out. Excuse me, I'll struggle. Here we go. Right, so let's take. We've got the usual, I feel like a DC power adapter. Okay, a few instructions. What I'm guessing in here is the tablet. Okay, so here's the tablet. Right. So, you see the RCA branding on the back here. If I turn it the right way around. Let's open it up. Okay, right. So, don't know if I'll be able to get it all in shot here. There you can see me. Hi! And I'm guessing this detaches in some way. Yep, okay, so there's just a simple little hinge there. And then we've got the tablet itself. Okay, so having a look around the tablet. Down the side ends here, we've got the what's that? Oh, the mice upside down. We've got the mic. We've got an HDMI out socket. We've got, I'm guessing that's the power jack, micro USB connector, earphone jack. Sorry, over here. Full-size USB and a power button. Got the volume rocker there. That's presumably just got the little LED, and then we've got the slot for the micro SD card. We've got a rear-facing camera. We've got a speaker grill up here. Front-facing camera over here. So let's just take the screen protector off. Oh, I tell you, just love the smell of new gadgetry. Okay, that's around here we can see the connector. Okay, so unlike its sibling, which came with a relatively small amount of RAM of 8 gigs, this one here has 32. Let's see what happens if we turn this on. There we go. So we've got the tablet beginning to start up. So we'll let it start through, and whilst it starts through, I'll run through some of the specs with you. So in this, as I say, it's 10-inch screen. It's got 32 gigs of storage. It's a 4-core 10 gigs. So yeah, so I might as well just show you the box whilst that's speeding. Yeah, it's got 4-core. If you can just about see it, 4-core processor. I think it's 1.3 gigahertz processor, which isn't too shabby. I mean, it's not blindingly fast, but hey. A 1280 x 800 screen. Nah, slightly disappointing on a 10-inch tablet. It would be nice to see a slightly higher resolution, but it's probably. I guess at this price point, speaking of which, the price point is $129.99, and it'll be available through Asda. I mean, it's $129. It's very good value really for a 10-inch tablet. And then yes, you got Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, HDMI out, and you got GPS, which the 7-inch Mercury didn't have. It didn't have. Okay, so we've got to the bit where we can start to log in. I'll probably sign off in just a moment because I don't want to show off personal information as I log in. But we'll come back very soon to review it. I mean, overall the feel, yeah, I mean, it's a little bit plastic, but I mean, it's not too bad, I think is the phrase I'd say. I mean, obviously in this space you're thinking about competing with some of the Amazon tablets and probably some of the lower end Samsung tablets, but you know, it certainly could be a lot worse, and you know, I certainly think if they thought about putting perhaps a slightly higher quality plastic back to it, this could do well on first inspection. Do like the keyboards are. Let's see what the keyboard actually feels like. Sorry, it's a bit. I can see the cameras. There we go. That's better, isn't it? So yeah, the keyboard has a reasonable enough action. So I can see that's quite a nice feature. I mean, I have the other tablet I have is a Pixel C, and I have to say I love that. With the, I mean, it has a fancy magnetic connector and all this kind of stuff, and really talks using Bluetooth. But I do love that flexibility of being able to choose between tablet mode and a keyboard mode, and it's much better when it comes to you know, trying to do any kind of email or whatever on your tablet. If you have, oh, all right, and I can see I don't know if you can see it in the video, but the can you see the little? I'll just bring it down here. There's a little arrow there, a little cursor, when you use the keypad here, or the trackpad there. Very nice. Okay, well look, I think I'm going to pause it at this point here whilst I go and log on and do all the things that I need to do for getting onto the network, and we'll come back once I've got my apps installed and I've been using it for a while. Hi, this is Andrew for Geek News Central, and we're back with the RCA Saturn 10 Pro. This is an Android tablet for just £109 at the moment at Asda. Asda's a UK supermarket that's owned by Walmart for our US friends, and it comes with a keyboard. This is it's a very feature-rich tablet in that in a minute we'll just remind ourselves that it's got these ports on it. But it does have some compromises, obviously, at a budget price. So let's have a go through the goods and the good and the bad. So let's start with the bad. Well, it is a bit slow as a tablet. It does, although it has a choice of I think 16 or 32 gigs of memory. In terms of RAM, it only has 1 gig, and it has a fairly slow processor. I know it's a quad core and things like that, but I mean, it's noticeable that when you're switching between apps or loading up a big game, it does take quite a bit of time to get through those things. Other poor things would be that the screen's not great. The screen is a 1280 by 800 IPS. For a 10-inch screen, I don't think it really cuts the mustard anymore. Most noticeable when you're say reading a magazine article or something with relatively dense text on the screen. Let's bring that back together. It could really do with a bit of a bump there in terms of the screen resolution. The screen could also do with being a little bit brighter, but to be fair, it's not bad. I mean, you can see it here. This is in a relatively well lit room. There's no problem reading it. Other good features are that Venturer, the manufacturers of the tablet, even though it's branded by RCA, have put a few of their own little extra features. You can see that there's a camera icon down here. You can probably just about see it. So pressing on that will launch the camera. Having said that, the cameras are not great. They're only 2 megapixels. Other features are, you can kind of see over here that there's a volume controls along the bottom. They took a bit of getting used to because you're so often used to pressing the, if you like, the rightmost one to get your apps up, when in fact you ended up pressing the volume button, or you were trying to press the middle button, the home button, and you ended up getting the list of apps up. But you know, it's a nice touch actually. Now there are a few places in the operating system where they haven't quite done such a good job in modifying things. If I just go into the apps, into the settings, there's a bit here for where you do your. Let me just find. I should have checked this earlier. Where is it? I should probably just about tablet. There's a bit where you can do a firmware update, and the screen is just a very blocky. I don't know if you can see it over here. Check now instead of the usual screen that you might get from Android. Hi, you can see me. So there's a few touches. So that's one of the touches they've made there that isn't quite so well done. So if I just go back to GNC. So yeah, and in terms of the keyboard isn't bad actually. It's got some nice touches. I mean, the keys are small, but they're not so small as that you're constantly making mistakes. I mean, again, it all depends on the size of your hands. I found it was kind of acceptable. Along the top row, you've also got things like a back key. I don't know if you can see. Let me just leave this thing. You've got home keys and things like that. Now, I actually haven't discovered whether those are remappable in any way, but it's quite a nice touch to just be able to press the key and it takes you to the home screen, or you press the back key and it takes you back. The yeah, so just the usual. Just bring back up GNC to be safe. Don't like to show too much personal information. The other feature which is quite nice, sorry, obviously using the keyboard is great. You can put in your pin, but the keyboard won't wake the tablet from sleep. So if the tablet has turned off or anything like that, so I'll just show you that. If I turn that off, no amount of whacking on the keyboard will bring the tablet back to life. Obviously, once you've got the tablet back to life, the keyboard clicks into action. And just to remind people around the back, they do have on this tablet, there is a great deal of functionality. You've got a full-size USB port, you have a micro USB connector, and so hopefully the camera's focusing on this. You've got an HDMI out, and you have a micro USB socket here. So the tablet is very function rich. I was using the micro SD card slot to look at pictures from a camera. Again, the software could do with a bit of an improvement in that there didn't seem to be an easy way to kind of skip through all of the photos on the SD card. But it's nice to have that feature. You can just plug it in. And similarly, the USB port will take a memory key. Or I'm not doing very well here. We'll take a memory stick, and you can look at Word documents and things, provided you've got the right software installed. The speaker is surprisingly loud. Obviously, it's not stereo. There's just the one speaker here, but it's more than makes up for in its loudness. So let's go back a screen. You can connect the keyboard up in a stand-like fashion. So if you want to use the keyboard as a stand to present, say, if you want to watch Netflix or anything like that, you can do it like that. The keyboard doesn't work in that orientation. If I tap up here, it'll come up with the built-in on-screen keyboard. But it's quite hard to tap around that side anyway. Trying to think what else to cover. I mean, that probably covers most of the pros and the cons of the. If I just see if I can get out of that. Most of the pros and cons of the tablet. Obviously, the big pro is the price, the £109, which I think it is good value. It does very much depend on what your use case is going to be. If you wanted to sit on the sofa, bit of social media, bit of email, the keyboard means that it meets your use case really well at an excellent price point. If you're into magazines like me, it's not going to be it's not going to be the tablet for me. I want the high-res screen, the glossy screen, to reproduce the kind of some of the look of a high-end magazine, whether it's Vogue or GQ or whatever takes your fancy. So I think that probably brings us to the end. I mean, as I said, it's available from Asda here in the UK. I think in the US this tablet is possibly known as the Galileo. I need to kind of check that up, but over here it's being certainly marketed as the Saturn. There is a smaller sibling, the Mercury. That's it. Yes, there's a 7-inch Mercury tablet. I'll be doing a review of it later on as well. But for now, this is Andrew from Geek News Central with the RCA Saturn 10 Pro 10-inch Android tablet. Thanks very much.